was my team looking? It's odd for me personally, October 15th, forever and ever, culminates with the start of college basketball season. We've obviously been going at it for a couple of weeks now, which has been advantageous for us because I'm trying to incorporate a number of new guys. It's a little odd though because we kind of hit a little bit of a wall. The grind has got us. And I start looking up and thinking normally after about 2 weeks, you're preparing for an exhibition game, you're going to have the opportunity to play someone else. Maybe we need that. We're still a week or so away, but I've been really pleased with the approach. I've been really pleased with the way in which our guys come to practice every day.
Andy, Marshall got voted first team all conference. It's not that often to see a guy voted first team all conference who's, suspended. What do you think of that?
I didn't know he was voted first team all league. Did you guys vote?
I think Jerry did.
I was going to say, if he wasn't voted first team all league, maybe we need to check your credentials. But he obviously is a talented player. He's the leading scorer in the SEC. We suspended him in July. That's the reason that he's not here. Even though he's been back with us, from July to the end of August, there was a process put in place. And there were a number of things that he had to do in order to earn the right, and that's how we term it, earn the right to have the opportunity to put the uniform back on. He did a number of those things over that 6-7 week period. When we started school at the end of the fall, at the end of August for fall term, he went right through with our preseason conditioning. He went through individuals, and as we then started practice a couple of weeks ago, he's been back practicing. He's our lone senior. He's been tremendous in his approach and the way in which he's tried to help young guys. I've really challenged him to be more of a leader on the floor, take some responsibility for not only himself but those around him, and I've been pleased with the way he's responded.
Do you know how much time he's going to miss?
Well, that has not been determined again because it's a fluid situation. We're still 2-3 weeks away from that first game. There'll obviously be a decision prior to that. But again, this is a process that Marshall's got to continue to do what has been demanded of him.
How would you say he's handled the situation? Sounds like pretty well. How would you say he's handled it?
The thing that again, I'm the most proud of is he's owned it. He didn't try to run from it. He didn't try to blame anybody else. Internally, obviously we wanted him to stay focused on us and on what he needs to do in order to put himself back in a position to play this game that he loves. But I've been proud of the fact that he's owned it and he's done the things that have been demanded of him.
Andy, how do you get him to be as effective as last year? But he always seems like he seems to feel he has to feed off of crowd and playing emotional. How do you get him to play just as effective without that?
I think it's a catch-22. Here's a kid that plays with passion. That's how I term it. Now, does sometimes that lead to maybe a negative connotation? There's no question. But I've always said that I think you see the greatest improvements between years 1 and 2. And just because a lot of times people think I'm talking about a freshman to a sophomore, but he's only been in our program now going into his second year. He's never experienced anything like this. And it really came about in about a 2-week period in January. I think he's much more prepared, both mentally and physically, to handle the demands of the attention as well as the demands of the defensive schemes that he's going to see game in and game out in our league.
Have you guys asked him to tone it down? Has that been part of the stuff that he's got to do?
Well, that's just one of many. Before he can tone it down, he's got to earn the right to get back on the floor. We never want his passion to turn into a negative reflection upon himself, our program, our great university. We want to make sure that he respects it. And he's a kid that does. His father's a high school coach. He's got great enthusiasm. He's a basketball historian. He respects the game of basketball, and I certainly don't want some of his antics to make it appear that he does not. And he understands